Now let's look into that. Today some more concepts understanding. That is the first we look into that on the piping option under redirection. What is the piping requirement? Yeah, first let me talk with some points on the piping. Then we'll come back to that. What exactly or how to use the command. Like main points like a piping option, what we are understanding is already we are using this one in some of the commands. Suppose you have one command output. Suppose ls command output, but that ls command output you need to use it, or that command output is required for another command. The command 1 output we can pass it to the command 2, and the command 2 is going to executing this on the base of that the output which has been generated from the command 1, and command 2 output, and if you'd like to use it for another command, then you can use it between these commands with the pipeline option. It is like the streaming. The first command output you are going to streaming to that second command. That means the first command output as an input to the second command. This is going to helpful this in most of the scenarios. Let's have that some scenarios on this piping option. Suppose normally like how do you see this all the files on the base of the size sorting option, the file and folders, how do you sort it on the base of size? What other option we can use it? What is the option that is going to be helpful? Size based sorting, -s, right? Captures which is going to helpful. ls hyphen lsh, and if I use it on etc folder, let's observe that it is going to give that so many files in the folders. And if I would like to see that which file is consuming that the more size, you need to go to the top section. You need to use it cursor, and yes, this is the file which is getting used, that is around 655 kilobytes. And the remaining files, we just observe that lesser than size of services file. Next, which we have 80K, 27K, 22K. This command is helping about it to know that list of list of all the files sorting on the base of the size within that etc folder. Fine. But whenever we are observing about it, this output, if I like to know that what are the top 10 files are consuming that, the discretization files point of view in the current etc, what are the top 10 most files which are consuming that, the disk space? How to get it that information? How to get it that the top lines? Now this output, this current command output, and we can pass it to that the which command? What is the command to see this top lines? Is it a head command or is it a tail command? That is head. Now like the point what we are understanding is this command output. I don't want to like go for this manually to verify this what are the top files are consuming, and this command output would like to pass it to that another command which we have the head. By default it is going to list it the top 10 lines, right? So this command output whatever it is generating, and we are passing to the head, and if you need that, like suppose the top 3 lines which are consuming that space, now we can use it in the particular current directory. And if you use it, how to get it the top 3 lines? If an option which is going to helpful, and here you can see this is the file which is consuming more, and the next to this one, but here it is going to give the command point of view total what is the size also, but if you needed one more for that is 3 minus 1, that is number of files it is aggregated, or if you need 3 then you can use it the 4 option top 3 lines. This is the pipeline option. One command out, we can take it and we can pass it to that another command. And in this example, suppose you need to get it 20th line of the file, or this command output 20th line. How do you get it that 20th line? So from this output, I need to, from that output, what is that output it is given? Yeah, this is a complete output. But in this output, you need to get it the particular 20th line. How do you get it as? Can you give the command for it? The 20th line, a specific line. So here, the head command is helping about it, like to get it the number of lines, right? Suppose if I use it 20, then what it is saying that, yeah, the top 20 lines it is going to give it. But within that 20, again, I need to have that one more filter option from this output. I need to have that one more, the filter. What is that filter? Getting about the 20th line. That means this is the last line. But how to get it this last line of that the output? Yeah, so here again we can use it one more pipeline. That means first command output is an input to the second command, and now this command output we are going to use it for another command, that is the tail, which we can use it. And from the tail, the one line, how to get it -n 1. Yeah, that is going to help with that. From this 20 lines is the last line to get it of that. Yeah, so here importance of the pipeline, if you just observe that, yeah, the one command output, you can take it and you can pass it to that another command. It is already we are using some examples, but just like having that important concept point of view. Yes, more filters if you would like to apply that. Yes, one command output and taking that, applying that one filter, and again on that command, again you need to run that one more command. Yes, you can use it. Pipeline options between the commands. And now, like the one more option, one more command which we have to say is, suppose now whenever we are running about it, etc password. So what is the file that contains like number of users, right? I mean, all the what are the users we are creating about it, all that users information is storing in the password file. Now you need to know that how many users are available in this current system. How do you know that? How many number of users that we have in this user? Who is the command that is going to helpful currently? How many logged in users? Logged in users that is helping. But here the point is, we need to know about how many users are there. Yes, one option is cat -n. Yes, the cat command. Yes, -n, which is going to helpful and to get it the number of lines in that file, right? But I mean, here, like it is returning that the 44 as line numbers of that, but I need to have the total count. I don't want to enable that line numbers while printing. No, that is not the point. But I need to get it total number of lines. Yeah. So what is that one more command it is going to help is WC command. Now on this output, if you try to get it about that, the total number of lines in this output. Yes, from this command output, what are the total number of lines out there? Lines, number of lines are nothing but that is like number of users, right, in this file. Yeah, cat it is helping about it to get it the content of the file, but from that output you need to get it total number of lines of that output. But what is the command you can use it is to get it total number of lines of that the file, and the total words or the characters, that is a WC that stands for word count. And if you use it -l, that is going to be helpful to get it the total number of the lines which are there in that file. But as we are applying for the etc password contains the user's information, and that users like which we consider 44 users are there in this current system. Yeah, WC is the command, and suppose if you directly run that on this etc password about the WC command, It is going to helpful to verify that the file content. Suppose now this etc password contain the 44 lines, and how many words it contains, the total is 90 words it contains, and how many characters that we have this in this file is, that is 2313 characters we have in the file. Yeah, wc is like one command, I mean one this important command. Whenever we are generating, you need to check it like a total number of directories are there in that etc folder. How do you know that? I mean the total number of directories which are there? Yes, that command output which are generating this with directories, then you can apply that -l. That is going to help with that total number of the records which are generated from that output. Yeah, wc which you can apply that's on the command output like this, or you can apply this on the files. But if you apply this on the file, it is going to return that lines, words, characters. But if you needed only lines, what is the option we can use it? -l. That is going to return that only number of lines which are there in that file. Like that, if you need that only the words which are there in the file, how many words? -w, and a total number of characters in that file, that is the -c option. This is one more command like wc word count, and some command output we take it, and we, if you like to know that what is the total number of the records are there, or total number of lines are there from the command output, then which we use it wc-l. Suppose how many users are logged in that in the current system, you would like to check it. How do you know that? Like first of all, command which we should know this, right? How to check it? The total number of users who are logged into the system, currently logged in, that is who is the command which is helping. Yes, now we have logged in through that vagrant, this terminal, and as well as we have logged in, and if you just observe that, yes, this is the desktop, the same user. Yeah, through the desktop we have logged in, and as well as through this terminal we have logged into the system. That is total 2 users are currently logged in. Yeah, that is a 2. And but how do you get it like the count as, if you apply the -l, this is going to help all the total number of users currently logged in. Yeah, here we are understanding the 2 points. One is a piping option, how the piping symbol is going to helpful to forward one command output to that another command. And whenever you are forwarding the command output, the mostly to know about the total count, a total words pointer, total lines, a total the characters. SWC is one command, and you can apply that. Do you need that lines? Do you need that words, or do you need that characters? Yeah, so like this number of users to find it, or how many users currently logged in. Yeah, this is the combination of the 2 commands. Yeah, I've got these points on the piping options. Yeah, one command output and how it is going to helpful to take into that another command. Yeah, I mean, who are those users? Here it is showing us, right? Vagrant and vagrant. There are the 2 users. In the command output itself, you can see that who are those 2 users are logged in. Yeah, the command output it is showing that this is a vagrant user, and here also vagrant user. There are the 2 shells. Yeah, how to understand this piping option? We have this different examples, and we will come back to that. But yes, the one command output, and if you'd like to pass it, or if you'd like to use it as an input to the second command, then we can use it pipeline option. There are some examples. Knowing that the users, knowing that the currently logged in users, or if you'd like to know that the total number of directories are size based, the top the top lines or top or last lines, if you'd like to know that, the combination of head and tail with the main commands. Yeah, next one more concept or one more understanding which is required, that is Redirections. What is this redirection? This is one more important like a functionality from that Linux, which is going to helpful during automating that the infrastructure. Yes, automations, if we're talking about it, that is writing the shell script and catching the outputs of that, the commands. Yeah, the redirection is one of the important point. What is the redirection, and what are the total types of the redirections? So, I mean, if you just observe here, we are using a cat command and with the file name. Can we say this is cat? What it is doing is it is taking this file, what are the path you have defined, and it is going to identify the file, and it is reading the file content, right? As we are saying that this is accessing the file, access time. Yeah, cat command you are running this on that file is nothing but there is a access time. The time is if you just stop it. But cat, what it is doing, it is reading the file content, and when I run it cat with etc password, this file, I mean, whatever it is reading the file content, it is going to redirect into the terminal, right? Yeah, the complete the file content, whatever we have, is reading. That is taking that input standard in, and whatever that the content it is reading from the file by the cat, it is redirecting to the terminal. Yes, so this is about the terminal which is showing about it. What is the content is there in this file? Yeah, this is also, I mean, a redirection. Two activities are done. One is reading the file and writing that content to the terminal. Terminal is also one of the file. Yes, like what are the terminal which are using here, or what are the output it is writing here? Linux pointer. This is also one of the file. Yeah, this is the standard in, and it is doing the standard out to the terminal. Two operations. Right? Yes, it is reading the file content and is writing the file content to the terminal. Yeah, so I mean, a reading point of, if you just observe that you are reading the file content is nothing but in I mean, a terminology point of view, what do all this is in the redirection standard in operation. In it is taking that the command is reading the file content, that is standard in, but the redirection, the command output, it is writing to the terminal, that is a standard out. Standard in taking that or reading from the file and writing to the terminal or writing to the file, that's normal transaction, we can say that standard out. But not only just reading and writing that, but we have like errors option also. Yeah, one more redirection. What we have to say is, suppose whenever we run the command, suppose let me just give that one example. ls abc.txt. Now, is it an error or is it like a success? Now I'm running the ls command on abc.txt and it is saying about it, cannot access abc.txt, no such file or directory. Is it an error or is it like a success? What do we say this message? Yeah, it is error, right? So what are the file we are trying to run it, or we are trying to check it? That file is not there, no such file or a directory. This is the error message. Suppose do we have any files? Okay, directory one. Let me use it ls directory one or directory 10. Okay. Yeah, now this ls command, is it successful or the failure? So here on directory one, no such file or directory. That is the error message. That means this ls command is redirected that command output as an error message to the terminal. This is error, standard error. But whenever we run that ls with the successful message, that is directory 10 is that is available. But we don't have any content app, so that's why it is not showing. Yeah, this command is successful. But if I use it ls we don't have any files in that. Yeah, we don't have those any files and folders. Yes, that is showing. But now the command output, if you just observe that the output is successful output. So standard output, we'll call it normal transactions. And if the command returns that the failed, then we say that there are the standard errors. Yes, redirection point of view, 2 points which we have. One is a standard out, the second one is a standard error. And command is taking that in any inputs, is reading from the file or taking that like a pipeline option if you use it, and if you are reading that the output of the command, we can say that the standard in is the command. What of the data it is, the data reading from the files or reading from that other commands is we can say the standard in. And once the standard in has been taken and it is doing that, performing that operation, that is either writing to the terminal or writing to the file, we can do. But while writing to the terminal or file, we have the two options. One is the normal transaction or success transactions, standard outs, and the error messages, standard error messages. Yeah, yeah, using all these the redirection options, how do we redirect it to the standard outs, or how do we redirect it to that, or how to manage the errors whenever you are running that automation scripts? And how do we read that standard in? That is, we don't have that much option. That is like you are using the cat command or you are reading the file. That is like standard in. But output operations is redirection options, either normal transactions, either error transactions, redirecting to the same file about standard outs and standard errors, or standard outs into the separate file, standard errors into the separate file. Yeah, there are like a different scenarios that we'll be having whenever we are implementing automation scripts or working with that shell scripting. But how to use it? These are standard outs or standard errors. And here one more point also which we should know. We have like the numeric representation of these standard in, standard out, and standard errors also. What is the numeric representation for the standard in is that is 0, and the standard out means normal transaction wise we can say this is 1, and the errors, what is the like the numeric representation of that, this redirection which you can use it is 2. 0, 1, 2. 0 for standard in, 1 is for standard out, and 2 is for standard error. Yeah, that's about redirection which we have option. You are using that cat. Let me, yeah, cat if I'm using, and etc, the password for any file you are using is nothing but it is like as a standard in. And here, even here also, if you just observe that, how do we read that file content? We can use it one more notation, that is less than notation. I see the same output. So like running that command, that is that, yeah, cat etc password, indirectly it is like as a standard in. Or we can explicitly also we can specify that this option, that is a cat less than etc password. Whether you are going to specify it or not, anyway that is a standard in operation. Yeah, standard in, how do we represent is less than, but you don't need to explicitly use it for the standard in operation. You are running the command on that particular file is nothing but indirectly you're using standard in operation. But what about the standard out? Yes, no, out is just it has been redirected to the terminal, right? But can I redirect this one to that about our files? Yeah. So let me talk at some scenarios here on this standard error, standard out, and how to manage it. This is a standard error and standard out with the different scenarios. And overriding, we have like a appending option, overriding option. Yeah, let me talk here. Yeah, ls command. Yes, it is giving that all these directories. Now I would like to redirect the complete output of this command to the file. So something like the files.txt. So this is like a redirection. Now this command output, ls-l command output. So whatever it is writing to the terminal, instead of writing to the terminal, now we are requesting writing to the file, the custom file we have specified. What is the file name? Yes, you can give any file name. If the file is already there, it is going to overwrite it. If the file is not there, it is going to create a file. If you just check it here, Yeah, the files.txt which is there, and if you observe the content, yes, what is the content we have is ls-l command output, ls-l command output. It has been redirected to that files.txt. It is not showing in the terminal, right? By default, it is redirecting the complete command output to the terminal. But instead of redirecting to the terminal, we can redirect it to the particular files as well as that is whatever file is required, that file name we can give it. And suppose if I'm running one more command, let me if config. If config, it is going to give that all the network interfaces on the system. Yeah, this is 3 interfaces, but we'll come back more on the network interfaces to discuss it. But this command output, if you just observe that, yes, it has written some output to the terminal, right? But now this output, instead of redirecting to that, I would like to write it to the files.txt. Then whatever the content of the files.txt, after executing this command, now what is the content we'll be having in the files.txt? Now this files.txt, if you just observe that it is having network interfaces which we have, but before it was having ls-l command output. Yeah, so now while redirection, so what is the option we have is if we use it greater than symbol. So redirection option, what is that? Yeah, the symbol which you can use it greater than. Less than is for reading, standard in, standard out point of view, or redirection point of view, we have the greater than symbol. Yeah, command and greater than, and if you give the file name, the command output is going to redirecting to the files.txt or what are the file you have specified. But the point what do you have is greater than. If I use it, now one of the latest command which I have executed, the latest command output, it is appending to, it is overwriting to the files.txt, right? Yeah, here it is overwriting. So again, now the cat files.txt, what is the content? Network interfaces information. Again, if I run it ls-l and files.txt, now what is the content you will be having? ls command output, it has been written to the file. Yeah, the greater than is as a overwriting. The latest command output, whatever you are redirecting, that content we will be having in the file. But I would like to append this. I don't want to overwrite it. I need that ls command output in the same file, and as well as if config output also in the same file. How do I use it that? Yeah, like how do we use it? Now, yes. So that is double greater than which is available. And if config, and if I use it double greater than and the files.txt, so it is going to appending that. So redirection, we have like a greater than and a double greater than. But what is the difference between the greater than and double greater than is greater than is helping to override that existing file content, and double greater than is helping. Now here in this file, if you just observe that, yes, we have ls command output and as well as network interfaces output also. Both commands output, it is available in the file. Yeah, how do you do that? Appending. Appending is double greater than. Yeah, that is a redirection option, the greater than, which is going to helpful. But if you use it only greater than, that is overriding that file content. And if you use it a double greater than, that means if you need that appending option, then we need to use the double greater than. And one more point, okay, let me just talk it. Suppose if I run it, the command, or whatever that command. So now this command output, it is writing to the terminal. Terminal, what is that? Where it is located, the terminal? As we are saying, the terminal is also one of the file. But where that the terminal is located is, if you just run it that tty, now this is the terminal which has been started. Yeah, so that is, it is like as a device which is available in, within that dev folder, pts 0. That means whenever I'm running that normal command without any redirection, explicit redirection, it is a default, it is updating to this dev pts 0. This is the file which is available. Yeah, this is, I mean, here if you just suppose there's the character specific file as a device file which we have, and this file is taking that, I mean, any command you are running is nothing by default, it is redirecting to this file. But by using greater than option, we can redirect that command to that about our custom files. Yeah, the default, this is the device which is getting used as a terminal output. But we are using like a custom redirection is nothing but greater than, and you can use it, the custom specific file. Yeah, this is one more point, understanding that. Yeah, like even the terminal is also one of the file which we have to the character specific file, and the default all the commands it is redirected to that this terminal, which we can set the TTY option. But if you would like to redirect the custom files, then we can use it greater than is that overriding, and double greater than that is for appending. Yeah, that is about redirection and doing the redirection with appending option or overriding option. But which type of standard output it has been used here? Is it a standard out or is it a standard error? Whenever we are using the greater than or a double greater than, is it standard out or standard error? Yeah, suppose let me run the command. Now I'm running the ls-l command abc.txt, the file which is not available, and we have the directory 10 something, right? Or users.txt, just we have created. Now if I run it, and this command is having one error message. Yeah, abc.txt, this file is not available, and as well as it is having one success message also, standard out. Suppose this command output, if I redirect it to this output.txt. Yeah, now here we have like a standard out and a standard error. Now I'm executing this command which is having standard out and standard error, but I'm redirecting this to that output.txt. Now is it going to redirect a standard out message or standard error message or both? Which one it is going to redirect it to this output.txt file? Now you see this here, before it was showing this 2 lines, but now it is showing that only 1 line, right? After executing this command, now it is giving that only error. But where is that standard out? Yeah, standard out, it has been written that to that like output file. Okay, and there is typo. It has been written to the standard out, it has been written to that redirection file, but error it is redirecting to that terminal itself, that is device, the default device, that is which we have the TTY. So the point what do we have is, by default whenever I'm using that the greater than notation, it is applying that only standard out. Standard errors it is not catching that. But how we can catch the standard errors now? Yeah, as we are understanding like the numeric notations, whenever we are using standard in, I mean standard in, less than if you use it, that is like a explicitly was specified the standard in operation. Standard out, if I use it greater than or a double greater than, on the basis of the overriding or appending, a standard out 1 is going to apply that, the numeric representation. But standard errors, we don't have any specific symbol separately. We can use it with the greater than itself. But what is that like a standard error numeric representation which we can use it? That is 2. Yeah, let me show that now. I'm just removing this user.txt. Okay, I'm running that only abc.txt. It is a error, but this error I would like to redirect to the separate file. By default, it is greater than. If I use it, it is not redirecting. Then what we can use it is 2 is the standard error numeric representation and greater than. Yeah, if I use it only greater than, that is a standard out. But if I would like to use it standard error 2 with a greater than notation, it is going to help for as a errors redirection. But which file? Yes, you can define that error.txt is some file name. Yes, to which file you would like to redirect that output, you can define the file name. Now that error from this command, it has been written to the error.txt. So if I use it only greater than, that is a standard out. But if you'd like to use it standard errors to catch it or to redirect it to that separate files, then we have a combination of 2 greater than. And we should not have any spaces here. One more important point, we should not have those any spaces. Yes, if we use any space between that 2 and greater than, it is going to use it as this is one more file, 2 file, and now it is redirecting to the error.txt, right? So abc.txt file not there, and a 2 file is not there, and it is redirecting that output to the standard output to the error.txt. Yeah, that is also important, where we should not have any space between that 2 greater than. And this is helping to catch errors. But can I catch it within a single command? Suppose no. Use .txt I'm running. And now what is the output here? Which one it is going to redirect it to that error.txt and which one is going to redirect it to the terminal? Yeah, if I run it, now the error is redirected to that error.txt, but actually the file which is there, users.txt file is there, that is a standard out, and standard out it is redirecting to the default to terminal, because we didn't specify a standard out, we have specified only standard error. 2 greater than, that is for standard error. If I use it only greater than, that is standard out. Yeah, now the user.txt it is redirected to that this text file, but error it is redirected to the terminal. But how I can catch it both in the single command? Yeah, we can do that error to catch it, error.txt, and we can use it one more greater than something. If I have this file which is required outputs to catch it, yes. So this notation is going to help for this command standard out to redirect it to the output.txt and standard errors redirected to that error.txt. So now if I run this command, now we have the 2 files. One is output.txt which is having standard out, and error.txt which is having that error information from the command. If we need it separately, standard out into the separate file, standard error into the separate file, then we can use it the greater than notation for the standard out and file name, and 2 greater than, that is for standard errors to catch it, error.txt. But if I would like to catch it, is whenever you're getting some automation scripts, we need to catch these 2 commands related output to the same file, errors and as well as standard outs redirected to the same file. Is it possible? Yes. What is the notation this way? How this says? Yeah, both files are redirecting. The notation what we can use it is, first you can define that to which file that you want to redirect it. The file name which we can define it. Suppose I would like to write into that output.txt, whether that is errors or standard out, whatever it is, I would like to redirect to that one common file, that is output.txt. But here if I use it, it is going to redirect to that only standard out. But how do I specify that, or how do I instruct it to that the processor redirect errors also to the same file? that is at the last, which we can define it as errors. What do we define it, or what do we use it? 2 greater than, right? But we are combining that, appending standard errors and standard out. How do we use it? That is ampersand. And standard output point of view, what is the numeric representation this we have is 1. 2 greater than, that error, and ampersand, yes, we are appending that, the one that is a standard out with standard error. If I run it and if I check it cat output.txt, now we have like errors into the same file and as well as standard out also into the same file. Yeah, this is the notation. First to give that to which file do you want to write it, and after defining the file name, then we can use it. Yes, that is this symbol notation. In interviews also they will ask with us, what is the symbol of 2 greater than ampersand 1? 2 greater than, that is for errors, ampersand is appending, that is a standard error appending with 1. 1 is a standard out. Yeah, how got these redirections? Less than, that is for standard in, greater than, that is only standard out to redirecting to the file with overwriting option, and double greater than redirecting the standard out to the file with appending option, and 2 greater than, that is going to help that redirect the errors to the file, and 2 greater than ampersand to 1 redirect both standard out and standard errors to the same file. Yeah, these are all some important points. Redirection point of view, or catching that out of the commands point of view, which we can use it on the basis of the requirement. Yes, when you are implementing automation scripts on the basis of the project requirement, if the project is required, the only catching about errors, or only catching about standard out, or the specific files are the same file. So if you have such mechanism, then we can use it, these redirections. Less than, greater than, less than, normally we don't prefer explicitly, but in the shell scripting, some notations I will come back. How do we read the file content? Cat command you are using, that is the standard in you are using indirectly. But out point of view is greater than, double greater than, and a greater than with this notation, that is 2 greater than ampersand to 1. Yeah, how got this point? Yes, I can repeat 2 ampersand. Okay, I mean 2 greater than ampersand. It says like if you just observe the command notation, okay, it is not managing the history. Yeah, the 2 errors, how to catch it? How to redirect to the errors? 2 greater than, right? 2 greater than standard error notation, and 1 is a standard out notation. And we would like to catch it errors and output to the same file, that is, yes, output.txt. And now first we are redirecting to the file, and then we are controlling that, appending that errors and standard out to the same file. So 2 greater than, there is a standard error, ampersand, there is appending, and with the standard out, that is 1. Yeah, so let's have it like yeah, I mean, any queries from this point? Redirections and piping. Piping is a straightforward command, the piping, but a redirection, less than, greater than, double greater than, and with the 2 greater than. 2 greater than is for errors, 1 is for standard out, 2 greater than ampersand to 1, both redirections. Yeah, that is overall. Next, before moving to that, like a find command, let's talk about one small exercise using these pipeline symbols, and as well as we have like some more commands also, like a cut command. How to use it is the cut also, to understand it. What is the purpose of the cut? Suppose now the manager is asking that catch that all the MAC addresses of the system and write to the file. Yeah, MAC addresses, how to get it is Yes, if you run it about if config, and there are all the interfaces which are there, like Ethernet 0 is one interface, loop and adapter is another interface, and this is one more interface, local, which is created. But where that MAC address is located is this interface is having, yeah, this is MAC address, and here we don't have anything, and here again we have like a MAC address. And now there is a requirement to connect that all the interfaces related MAC addresses and write to the file. Then how do you do that? Yeah, there's some small exercise. Let me just give it quickly. Yeah, the first what we need to do that is from this command output, we need to get that this line right first. Yeah, the lines which are having the MAC addresses, those lines we need to get. But how do we get it? Those lines is on this output, I can search for that Ethernet. This is like interface. Yeah, if I search for the string Ethernet, I mean, it should not be no space in that. If config is a single command and it should not have any spaces between that. Yeah, so here, yeah, this line I need to get it, but how do I get it from this command output? And now this command output, I can use it the searching for the string. I'll talk about these grep commands that's later, but just like understand it, I need to search for that ether string. Yeah, now if I from this command output, we are passing to the grep command, and grep is like as a string search pattern. Which string we are searching this from this output is ether. Yes, now this grep command is written that the lines which are having Ethernet. Yes, now we got it that these two lines. Fine. Now we can write it these two MAC and these two IP addresses. The MAC.txt is some file. But we don't need that this entire line. We need that only this content. Yeah, this line of the content. I mean, this is required. Like MAC addresses to get it into this file. Yes. From these lines also, again, we need to go for that filtering about these lines. Then how do you do that? Yeah, so what is that like a command which is helping us is cut command, which we can use it. So what the cut is now we need to cut I mean the field space, right? This field, and if you're able to get it that cutting, I mean cutting here, what the option we have is space delimiter. Yeah, this is one word and space we have. This is another word, space we have, and this is another word, space we have. It means we need to cut this entire line as a multiple words or multiple fields. That means the field separator we need to use it by using the space delimiter. And once if you know that, once if you have all the fields, then which field is required, that field you can redirect it to that the mac.txt. Yeah, simple. I mean, next for this command output, what we need to do this is we need to apply that the cut. What it is doing is, yes, if you have those any lines, now there are the two lines which are available. Yeah, on these two lines, we need to apply that cutting that entire line into multiple fields by using space delimiter. Space delimiter. Delimiter, how do I use it is, yes, -d, and what is the delimiter we are going to use it? Space here. So this option is helping that now from this command out, these two lines are getting, and again that line we are splitting into that multiple fields, splitting into multiple fields. But what is the delimiter we are using to split this entire line is we are using space. As we have this output is having the space is the delimiter between the words. And now which field that do you want to print it? Now the field number also required, right? Okay, now we have applied delimiter, fine. But after applying the delimiter, then which field that you want to get it? Yeah, the field number, like here as this output pointer, the field number 10 is going to give that the Ethernet, I mean the MAC address of these Ethernets. Now you see this, we have applied a delimiter using space on these lines. That means that is splitting that entire line into that multiple fields. Now, which field we are trying to print it is field number 10. Field number 10 contains the MAC address from this output. Now we got it. This is one MAC address, and this is another one on the basis of the network interfaces which we have. So it is, very powerful. The command which is going to helpful to cut that lines by using delimiter. And what are the delimiter you are applying? That it is going to split that entire line using the delimiter, and it is going to give that fields, and which field that do you want to print it, that field number you can pass it. Suppose if I use it the field number 1, do you see there's any output here? The space is, here we have some spaces, right? Yeah, the one field which is having the space, like that second field which is having again the space, third field again the space, like that. If I go for the 9 is giving that ether string. It is the field number 9 after the delimiter. And if I apply that field number 10, then it is giving that MAC addresses. Like that, if I go for field number 11 again, it is having the space here. And the 12, yes, now we are getting this line. So it is it is like as a cut. You can apply that on the lines with the delimiter option, and on the base of the delimiters, and it is going to split that entire the line into the words as a field, we'll call it. Which field that do you want to get it, you can pass it the field number, and on the base of this line which output is required, then you can use the field separator and you will get it that the required thing. Now here the field number 10 contains the MAC address. Now I can apply this now. This one, now I got it all like a MAC addresses of the network interfaces to that mac.txt, right? Yeah, cut command with the delimiter. Yes, like first we are taking that this command output, and on this command output we are searching the particular string, and from this output we are applying that on the lines, the cut with the delimiter option, and which field is required, the particular field redirect into the file. Now you can use it, this is not txt, to read that all MAC addresses of that network interfaces. How about this point? The cut command, more important. And now suppose, okay, let me give that one more example on cut. Suppose we are using etc password file, right? As like all the users information which contains. Now I need to print that usernames from this file. Now I need to get it username. How to get it? Username is the first field, and the second field which we have like user IDs and group IDs, then the information of the user, that means comments, and then we have like a home directory of that user, and which type of the shell. I'll talk it all these points for properties later, but now you need to get it first field from this file. Then what is the command you can use it, and how do you apply this? Now field separator, what it has been used here, if you just observe, what is the field separator here? We have delimiter. What is the delimiter? We can use it to split that entire line into that multiple of fields. Yeah, so from this command output, I can use it that cut command, and with the delimiter as a colon, right? As this file format point of view, colon I can use it to split that entire line into that multiple fields as colon. And which field is required? Field number. Field number 1, that represents the username. Now we are getting that all the usernames of that users. Or suppose from this output, you need to get it like something. Let's take it group ID or user ID. User ID is the first property is the username, second property is that password in the hash code, and third property is the user ID. How to get it that the user IDs? What is the field number which I can apply that? Field number 3. That is going to return that all the user IDs. Yeah, string patterns. Whenever you are working that string set, that is a grep. Anyway, I'll come back more options with grep later. But grep is helping to search the string, and cut command is helping about it. Yes, if you have the line, that entire line, if you have to split into the multiple fields by using field separator, either spaces or colon or hash on the basis of the file which are going to read it, and the file format you can apply the field separators. Yeah, how about these points? Understanding this? Are you following the points, everyone? What we understand today, if you just observe that, one is the piping option. Yes, how do you use the piping to forward that one command output to that another command? And then second option which we are using, that is redirections. But a redirection which we have the three options: standard in, standard out, and standard error. Standard in, okay, you are using the command is nothing but that is like as a standard in. You don't need to explicitly specify that the standard in. But if you need it, yes, you can use it. Less than is for standard in. What of the standard out? That is greater than. But standard out, we have two options. Do you want to overwrite that existing file, or do you want to open that the latest command output to redirect into that existing file content? Appending, that is double greater than. Next, which are greater than, which is going to be helpful for standard out. But standard error that is for 2 greater than, 2 greater than. That is helping about a standard errors to catch it. As we can redirect the standard out to the separate files by using greater than file name, or you can redirect the standard errors to that separate file, that is 2 greater than under file name. Or both, if you like to redirect it is greater than file name, then use it 2 greater than ampersand to 1. That notation is helping us to combine standard errors and standard outs. That's about some points on the redirections. But a terminal also, one more point which we are understanding, terminal is also one of the file. That is a character specific file, which is located in the devices, the PTS/0, that is a terminal. And we can redirect about our custom files, that is by using greater than or double greater than. Yeah, that's about redirections. And the next option which we are understanding, the importance of the cut command. Yes, whenever we are working with that, the lines split into that multiple fields, and the particular field if is required, how to get it, that particular field information from the lines. And then you can use the cut, and you can identify the delimiter, and on the base of the delimiter and what are the fields which are returning, then you can read the fields by using -f field number. Yeah, that is one more command. And yeah, there are some options on this. Let me. Yeah, what about, the locate and find? Suppose on the Windows system is, if you need that any file to search for that, or like you are looking for that one Word document, how to search that that file? We go further, opening the Explorer, and we use the search option, and here we use the searching for the file names of the directories, right? Yeah, the search options which we use it here. If you're looking for the documentation, which documentation, or if you know that any specific file name, and with the extension, yes, we use the search in that particular current directory. That is, whatever the search you are using, and the current directory is going to apply that. But entire system wise, if you like to apply that, then you can go to that this PC and you can apply that search option. That's a Windows option, the GUI-based approach. On the Linux system, if I would like to locate one of the file, or if I would like to search particular file or a directory, so how do we search the files of the directories on the Linux system? Yeah, we have the two commands like here, which we can understand it. So that is one is a locate command, and the second one is a find command. But first we'll understand the locate, and then we'll come back to the difference of that locate and the find. When do we use it, and how do we use it, that the find with the different options will come back. First, let me talk at that locate command. Yes, if you just run it, that locate, as now it is saying the no pattern to search for the specified. Suppose locate whenever we run it, and if you see any error, what is the error? locate command not found. Then install one package, sudo, if it is the CentOS system, use this command sudo m install mlocate. This is a package which is providing this locate command, mlocate. Or even like Ubuntu also, if you are using, just to replace m with the applicate. If you are using Ubuntu, this is for CentOS system, but if you are using Ubuntu system, yes, use it applicate and package name. This is for Ubuntu to install it. If you see that locate command not found, yeah, fine. Yeah, make sure that locate command is available. Now I would like to search it. Do I have any files here? Let me just look into that. Okay, mag.txt, arara.txt, some files I just created. Now I would like to search this mag.txt using the locate. But is it showing there's any mag.txt about the file which are created in our user home directory? So it is not showing that file, but it is showing that some different files which are having the file which are having mag.txt. Yes, it is setting that the pattern which you have applied mag.txt. So it is going to get it that the files in the entire the system in the user share. But we are running that in the user home directory and in the user home directory mag.txt, but mag.txt is not able to find it. So the locate, what it is doing, this is one important point which you need to understand. It is locate is not going to search the files on the file system. It is going to use it. What are the files you are creating or what are the directories you are creating? Enter, it is going to manage that one database backend. Separate database, it is going to use it. And whenever we are running the locate, it is going to search the file only from that database. But we have the mag.txt here, it is not locating that. But it is returning that some files which are matched with the mag.txt. Where all these files are located is yes. So like if you just observe that one point, we have this the database which is getting used by varlib mlocate. Yeah, here you see this like mlocate.db. That means what are the files and the folders which are creating, and it is storing this database. And whenever we are searching that particular file, it is going to search it only in the database. But the files we have just created, right? These like error.txt, mag.txt, these files just we have created. That means still these files are not updated to the database. Once it has been updated to the database, then if you search for that, locating the file, then it is going to return it. Yeah, the locate point of view, what we need to understand is locate is not setting the files on the base of the file system which are the current. So locate is going to searching the files which are stored in this database file. But how do I update that? All my files which are created are directories that you need to update to this database. Then only you can use it locate to find the files which are looking for it. But if the file is now this file is available in the file system, but it is not updated to that locate to database. Yeah, what the command that we can use it to update this database is update to db. Yeah, now I have run this update to db. That means now it is going to take it the latest files and the folders which are available in the current system, and it is going to update to the database, locate to database. Now if I search it for that, the file locate mag.txt. Now you see this, we got it that mag.txt. Before it was not showing. That means before it was not having this mag. Just we have created. It is not updated, right? Yeah, it is not stored this database, but if you are looking for the files and if you are going to finding that the files with locate, make sure about it. About your database update is also important. So it is locate is not working on the file system, it is working on the database. And why it is using this database and why advantage of this locate is it is very fast compared with that next command which we are going to learn it, that is find command. It is very fast because I mean it is already available all, and whenever it is running, you just observe that it is using offset path, the complete path location. So now we are running this locate command in our user home directory. But this mac.txt, it is referring that user share also. That means the pattern whatever you have applied, this pattern, whether that is available in the current directory or in the entire system, it is going to set that the file or pattern which you have applied. That is one more point. So 2 points which we can understand this with locate. Locate is not working on the current file system. It is using that backend database. And if you need the latest update, yes, you need to go for that sudo update database. Then all the files which we have this from the file system is going to update to the database. And whenever we would like to locate it, yes, locate and a pattern which you can apply. But this pattern is not for that current directory or the specific directory. So with this string, what are the lines, I mean the complete absolute path of the file name, it is going to return that. Yeah, it is directly locate command is nothing but we are running the locate is nothing but this pattern. It is not finding that absolute path, right? The base file name. Yeah, it is going to return that all. Actually, file name is mac.txt. I am looking about it. I am looking about here. Okay, so what is the base name of this file is readme underscore mac.txt. The base name of this file is os underscore mac. But I would like to check it, or I would like to search it, the files which are exactly matched with mac.txt. But here it is written that yeah, readme underscore mac.txt. But I'm looking at it base name exact with that mac.txt. Then how do I get it? Yeah, the locate is having one option. Let me remove these asterisks. Yeah, by default, it is using before asterisk and after that asterisk. Yeah, the locate command. And it is referring from the database. It is not on the current physical file system. Okay, now we are getting about it some files which are belong to that. Yeah, these are all the base names which we have. Yeah, the base name. Suppose let me go for one scenario passwords. Okay, let me use it a different file because the mac.txt will have all the base name files, right? Let me use it one more file that is passwords. Okay, passwords also it is having yeah, base name. Okay, let me use it one more string. Something seahorse which we have. Yeah. If you just observe this example, whenever it is locating the files, which are, I mean, what is the pattern I have applied? What is the string? Oh, we have so many files. Just to see there are some scenarios using this string. What is the string I'm using is EA horse. That is seahorse actually. The seahorse is one the software which is helping. Yeah, I'm just talking about it EA horse. But EA horse, whether we have the directories or whether we have the base name files fine. And you see here somewhere seahorse is there as a directory name also, right? Seahorse is not the base name of this file. This is the directory. Within the directory, we have like one more file, keyring something, the file which we have. So I mean, the what is the point we are understanding is if you just use it, the locate with the string, whether that is a base name, whether that is a directory name, or whether that is within the path, if anywhere it is matched, it is written there. Locate. Locate is not looking at only on base names or the file names or directory names. It is looking at in the entire path. If that string is matched, it is returning that from the database. But I need that only the files which are having seahorse. Then how do I use it? So -b is that one more option. That is B for the base name. Then it is going to return that the files which are having the base name of with that string. Now you see this, like before how many files? Before, whenever I did use it, any -b option, the total files which have been written, the 508. But we are looking this now only the base files, the -b. Now we got it only 149. That means 149 files which are having with this string name. But in the entire absolute path point of view, wherever it has been matched this string, we have this total 508 files, other folders. But base name of this with this string, we have this only 149 files. Yeah, the -b is the option which we can use it with the locate command. And if that the file name you are looking at with the base name, then you can use it -b. And even like one more point, if you just observe that, I mean here this output, yeah, the seahorse.mo, or we have some more files, yeah, the seahorse preferences.png, some like image files which we have with that name. But I need that exact matching of this string. Even the base name exactly it has to be matched. So now this command, what it is doing, if the base file contains this string, it is written that. But I need that exact file name match. Then how do we use the locate is? So within that single quotation, you can use it backward slash, and now you can see that the files which are exactly matched with that the string. But we don't have any horse files. Let me just go for password file. Yeah, so with this password file, we have this total 4. It is showing that exact the string which is matched with that. Now if I remove this, even this one also. Now we see the CTC password. Yes, this is the option. I mean, the base name of this, the password file, and we have within that etc pam.d and user bin one more password file, and here also one more password file. Now it is returning that exact this base file name which is matched. Only those files it is returning that. Yeah, there are the different options. Whenever you are working with locate is working on the database, not on the physical file system. And if you are going to look up the latest files, update the database, sudo update to db. And after updating that, then go for locating the files. But by default, locate is working on that string pattern, whether that is absolute path or whether that is, I mean, wherever it is matched to that, the string, it is going to return that. But if we need that particular base names and within the base name, only exact string matching, then we can use it. These options. What are those? -b. -b, if I use it here, the password here also it is there, and here also it is there. But exact string to match it, yes, locate which is having, which we can use it. Within the single quotation, define that the pattern which you are applying, then use it that backward slash. Now it is exactly matched with the base name file, it is returning that. Yeah, that's about the point. And the one more point here, we have this is one more option, -i, that is ignoring case which we can use it. Now whenever you are setting that, suppose use that caps password. So whether the caps password or a small password, it is going to return that. But if I don't use this -i, I know that Linux is case sensitive. Yes, it is going to return exact the files which are matched with the case sensitive. It is going to do that. But ignoring the case, yes, you can use it -i option. Yeah, I've got this point, the locate command. So looking at the files and the folders with locate. Locate is very fast compared with that next command, that is the find command. We are going to learn it. Find is more advanced and with more options we have. The size based, we will come back. That is required like half an hour to 45 minutes to discuss on the find. We'll come back to that. But locate, the main point, just remember that it is not searching on the current file system. It is going to use the backend database. But if you need that the latest files to check it, update the database, then locate it. That is one point. Second point is locate. By default, it is going to search it. In the path, the entire path, the string pattern is matched, it is going to return the files. But if you need that particular base name, if it is matched, then -b is the option which you can use it. And within the base also exact name if you like to match it. Then within that the single quotation with the backward slash you can define the string. And if I'm like ignoring the case, yes, we can use it -i and -b, that is a base name. Yeah, that is about locate command. Find command, we have like the big story on it. That is, we will talk it tomorrow. You have to just practice it, and tomorrow we look it on that, the find option. Following the points. Any queries, questions which we have, please. Total 3 sections. One is piping, second one is redirection, third one is locate. So how do you locate the files from the system? But which one do you need to use it, locate or find? That we'll conclude it tomorrow. The find is more the useful compared with the locate. Locate is fast way to get it or to know that whether do you have those matching files or not. So you can use it the locate, but make sure it the database is required to update. And if you'd like to know that the complete total files and the folders within the database, yes, we have like one more option, locate with the -s capsules if we use it. Yes, with that the database is located is a location, and it is having in this database now these many directories and these many files and these many bytes, total bytes of that all the files, and on the database, so that's a disk point of it is using this much or these many bytes on the storage point of view. Yeah, so this is the main important if you are going to use the locate command, the database wise search option. Yeah, so these points which we have for today, and tomorrow we will continue with the find option and with the grep. Yeah, the text options, how do you set it and how do you use it.